trigger happy and I give less than a fuck. Love me or hate me, I'ma show enough, rip shit up. It's Mr. Nothing, nice on a mic stand. Mic in the left and the zest in my right hand. I took a puff, had enough now, hold up. If that was Indo, niggas getting rolled up. Yo.
How's it going, folks? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the Millionaires debut album tonight. So this came out a year after their mixtape, their free mixtape, Your Girl Does Party, which had a number of decent bangers on there. Thing about it is you can kind of find like the singles on the Girl Does Party mixtape, but you can find the singles on Tonight that are also on Your Girl Does Party, but the Drinks on Me song is kind of more of a remix on the mixtape. So I would just prefer to go ahead and get it on Tonight. It's kind of difficult to obtain. That's kind of the situation about it. I've been looking. I knew I was going to like this project before I reviewed it, so I was looking to kind of purchase it, but it seems kind of difficult to obtain, like I was saying. So I'm going to have to kind of sift through and try to figure out what's going to happen there. But to show you the sales for this project in terms of how low-key they are, it sold less than 700 copies in its first week. And that's almost like a local rapper or something. That's like someone that you'd see like in Nebraska or something like that just has, I mean, you could basically sell almost 700 copies in your car, damn near. That's kind of the situation there. No insult to the Millionaires, because this music is extremely good, but it's just the fact that, I'm fairly certain this didn't chart on like the Billboard 200. But that's the appeal of the Millionaires. It's good to see that they maintain kind of that Myspace and kind of internet rap personality that they did back in their garage band days, because basically they upgraded from their Myspace days, but in terms of like mainstream and an actual promotion as it can be in stores like Walmart and Target type thing, they're pretty low rung. And it's not to say in terms of quality or appeal that they have or personality. It's just in terms of like the quality, in terms of what most critics would probably think. And I think that's something to pay attention to. There was quite a bit of this project I liked, but I understand the concept as to why it's kind of I understand the concept as to why it's questionable that they didn't put out any other music after this project. I mean, to my knowledge, they have at least 5 projects, and I've reviewed all of them now. I've reviewed their 3 EPs, their free mixtape, and now their albums. That's kind of the concept about it. And, I would have to say, like, this more further about their personality. They're pretty ritzy girls, almost high maintenance, but just kind of in like a liquor setting. They seem to like being outgoing, and they have quite the social vibe about them. They're not like, Avril Lavigne is not this outgoing, at least not, it seems that way. And, Alicia Keys really isn't. Beyonce really isn't those type folks. Trying to think of a few others. Adele really isn't this much. So they're pretty, they basically remind me in a lot of ways of like a bit of Cobra Starship mixed with Kesha and then Carly Rae Jepsen. If you remember her from back in her early days when she was doing like the Call Me Maybe stuff. This has the perfect pitch between like late, summer of 2010 to about summer of 2013, when everything was about drinking and going out to EDM type clubs, the Pitbull type music. That's a lot of stuff that's derivative. It feels like I said about their mixtape from 2012, Your Girl Does Party. A lot of this is pretty Kesha derivative, not in a bad way. They really had the sound. They were there before Kesha was. It's just kind of the concept as far as having a marketed CD that you can actually purchase. They had to kind of find a sound that is going to be something that's going to actually sell units. And that's kind of the thing about it. So that's kind of what happened. Kesha might have beaten them to the punch in terms of promoting the sound, but they do a pretty good job of having like a lot of liquor-induced music that's perfect for a bar, a rave, a club, or a dance club, something like that. But to go ahead and talk about the singles. So they had 2 of them to my knowledge. One was Boss Bitch, and the other was Drinks on Me. I like both of these. Boss Bitch has a real kind of outgoing, kind of just out and about kind of feel towards it. I definitely like the approach. I mean, you really don't have to purchase this album to get it because it's the exact same version on the Your Girl Does Party mixtape. So either way, it's a great song to kind of hear. Kind of is it's a different song in the sense that most of their topic matter does not portray this sort of song, but it's a good vibe about it. And then Drinks on Me is, of course, the Millionaires in their element, which is one of their elements, which is their preference for liquor and such, which I don't have a problem with whatsoever. But to say brilliant hook, nice rave ready song, and that type stuff, just overall brilliant feeling, one of the more uproarious songs on here. I mean, the thing about the Millionaires, they do have a lot of club songs, but they don't go full blown crazy. They kind of know the limit as far as, like, I've seen songs like when MGK was doing Rage Pack and Pitbull was doing songs and that type stuff, and LMFAO and Lil Jon. They can get a lot more turned up than them, but they definitely have the vibe. So that's something to notice. The Millionaires they don't really do dance songs. They have club songs, but it seems like they're more trying to find a guy and find some drinks more so than shake their rumps in the dance club, which is surprising because they're nice. They're attractive females, so you would think that they would want, but there's really nothing on this album conveying that they just want to go out and dance. I mean, even if they say it in the lyrics, there's not a song designated to it, so that's kind of surprising. It seems what's more on their mind is, like I said, liquor and guys. So that's something to notice. They do have a good amount of, they have decent topics, but for the most part, most of what is conveyed in like the song palette that's on this album is something that has to do with liquor, going out, or guy problems. And that's about the stuff. Like, there's a couple songs with good situations with guys, a couple songs with bad situations with guys. So Kitty Go Hello and Fuck Me Eyes are kind of in the good situation. K Thanks Bye and Get Away and One in a Million are kind of not. So that's kind of the situation about that, but that takes up half the project. So they do have some, like, the problem with it is I want to, like, okay, so Spotify is going to cooperate so I can actually showcase it because I don't remember all the songs. I want to show them so I can talk about them. Yeah, like some of the topics on here, there's some good club songs like Put It in the Air, 21, Drinks on Me, and Boss Bitch. And then I think there's at least one other one. See, Spotify's not cooperating again. Come on, damn it. Yeah, that kind of happens to be a thing. So to talk about some of those, I mean, it's kind of half and half as far as like the sort of stuff, but some of the extra songs on here, if you're looking for something more like Boss Bitch, I mean, there's not an overabundance of like, oh yeah, Dat Boy is another one that's kind of, so it's 3 and 3. Dat Boy is another song that kind of goes with the good side of things in the relationship. But yeah, I mean, I like the palette, but I think I'd actually have to say I like the palette of what was talked about kind of on Your Girl Does Party more. And that's kind of the situation there, is to kind of talk about that. They, like, the Millionaires generally don't have problems with talking about things. I just think in terms of like something that should be sandwiched into an album that can be sold in stores, because this was going to be out on CD. I think they were kind of, I don't want to say 100% that the label kind of had them do it, but it was just more kind of grooming in that sense in terms of being able to kind of get these songs in motion. Because, the songs that they did in their MySpace days, they kind of had more of like, they had more freedom to kind of say more things. Like, I don't remember all of their songs that were on MySpace back in the day, but they definitely had just a more kind of free flow and kind of less concern kind of attitude when they express these songs. So I mean, I'm glad that, once again, I'm glad that this is available to purchase, but I kind of look after it and it's like, of course, you have to kind of mind more rules when doing such a thing. I mean, they have their personality in terms of the liquor songs, their kind of promiscuousness and outgoing good time, but I don't know. I mean, songs like I Like Money and Talk Shit are really not to be found on here. There's a number of songs like that. Alcohol, just something plain. I mean, Alcohol is like the plainest song, just a plain, just name it Alcohol. They do have a song called Jack, which is basically just a sing-songy ode to just being obsessed with Jack Daniels. But I don't know. Um, Alcohol was better. I have to say Alcohol was better. It was just more upbeat, and yeah, I mean really the thing about it is there's just not garage band beats on this project. So it's just kind of, it's more refined, but it's still something I would purchase. I definitely would have to say. I'm just trying to go about, because the point that I'm trying to get across before I start to talk for like 12 more minutes is the fact that I like their song topic matter on their MySpace songs and their EPs, but it's not quite as frivolous and as random. And that's kind of the situation about it. Even their mixtape, even their mixtape had more good jaunts on there, like Ratchet and I Get Around, that kind of conveyed a little bit more. So that's, it's kind of the thing. It just kind of turns into like, you know, hey, we like to get drunk and we like boys kind of vibe, but there is more to the Millionaires than that. And that's kind of the concept. All you have to do is look at any of their prior material to this album, and you can kind of see that they do have stuff to talk about. I just don't know how marketable it is, because they have I mean, you have to understand that these were just girls that just, you know, got together with, you know, had 2-3 friends or sisters get together, make a bunch of songs on GarageBand, and then got popular. But um, you know, that's kind of the situation about it, is the basic topic matter is just not there. So that's kind of the situation, but they're still basic for mainstream. That's the appeal of it, as I still feel like there's levels to like music dropping and stuff, but you know, the leveling up that they did kind of results in less kind of versatility that they knew what to work with, it seemed like. So that's kind of the thing. That's the vibes I got from it. But luckily there are songs worthwhile. It just is not quite as vivid. So I'll go ahead and list the songs out of 11 that I recommend to you. So the 6 songs I recommend is Boss Bitch, Drinks on Me, Fuck Me Eyes, Put It in the Air, Get Away, and 21. And that's kind of the concept, is like a lot of these are outgoing. Like Drinks on Me obviously is a nice bar song. Fuck Me Eyes is a pretty solid club song. Put It in the Air, Fuck Me Eyes, Get Away are all club songs within that setting. Get Away, despite the fact that it kind of has like an obstinate attitude, I still like the approach of it. It's, you know, it's fine to kind of get that kind of pouty and kind of, you know, I don't want to say bitchy, but just kind of more song with attitude. It's good with that sort of attitude and that sort of stuff. And then 21 talks about partying like they're 21. I mean, they were probably like in their mid 20s at the point when they did this album. So it's just kind of to be able to say some of that stuff. That's the basic vibes that you get. But to kind of say, if you're wondering, okay, well, what besides alcohol in the club do these girls have going for them? Well, that's kind of a shot, and that's the thing. They used to talk about money. They used to talk about haters and stuff like that, but it didn't quite make the approach on here. Even other, they don't really convey about other women. I mean, maybe Boss Bitch does, but for the most part, they don't have as much attitude towards women, talking about that they'll just plain take that some other woman's guy or something like that. There's not too much of that. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward with what you get. They like the club, they like guys, and sometimes they don't like guys. That's the main theme of the project, but it's not, you know, as I've said, you know, a number of times now, it's not to the point where they don't have stuff to say. It's just more like in a CD setting that kind of gets that way. So, I'm gonna give this album a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, I really did like a lot of it. I liked over half, and I would feel like Kitty Go Hello is kind of an almost song, but I quite wasn't enough of a fan of the production. I mean, I could see it kind of in an outgoing setting that actually wasn't for a bar or a club, but it did not sound enjoyable enough to the point where I'd listen to it on a regular basis. But it's an almost song. I mean, in the right day, I would listen to it, but eh. So the social score I'll give like a 7, just because I like both the singles, even though they're kind of in some cases available elsewhere. But I definitely like Boss Bitch, and I definitely like Drinks on Me. These were great. And I would kind of say that there's a number of songs like One in a Million, even though I didn't enjoy that song, could make an easy pass at being kind of like a makeshift. That's the closest they get to makeshift, or you'd hear them on the radio felt like something Avril Lavigne would do, or some other, emo type chick. There's a number of women that could pull that song off, but it worked decently well despite the fact that I didn't vibe with it. So it has some appeal on here. It's just they're so low key that it's just strange hearing them. That's kind of the stuff, because they're, like I said, their topic matter got kind of nerfed, but it's just kind of, it's good stuff, but it's just rather subdued. That's kind of the thing about it. So yeah, good vibes, definitely worth a purchase if you can find it. And it's just kind of the concept. It's recommended that you just go with more of the Millionaires and kind of pick and choose what you really want, because there's enough hits on here to warrant a purchase. But I feel like if you don't like alcohol and you're not really kind of as flirty as some of these women are, it's kind of like, well, it loses some of its brownie points. That's definitely kind of the thing there. So it's just kind of one of those vibes.